Shalom, family. This is Wanda. This is Diaspora Connect. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to my faithful subscribers. Welcome in the room. Welcome back to my new subscribers. Welcome to my channel. So I decided to do a video today. The last video I did was why you should not move to Gambia or something like that. That video has been blowing up. I've been getting so many comments, some agreeing and many not agreeing. Many who are actually residing in the Gambia and have been there for some years, they're speaking up. They're saying, it's not fair and, so forth and so on for me, basically to say that Gambia is not a good country to move to, relocate to, whatever. So, very, very, very interesting perspective on these numerous comments that I've received. I've also received comments in reference to my spiritual practice, which I think because in the video I mentioned that a lot of the people of the women that were passed under suspicious circumstances were African African spiritualists, or a lot of the people over there, they subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to that. And so because I don't subscribe to that, I'm not bashing y'all when y'all subscribe to that. So don't come for me saying that my belief, because I believe in the biblical scriptures, is a colonized mindset. It's not the colonized mindset, because the colonizers don't think that we are the chosen of, they don't think that we are the people of the book. They think that the people in the Middle East, the fake Jews in the Middle East, the Israelis are the people of the book. So we don't think the same way. I had to clarify that. We, as Israelites, as Hebrews, our history book is the biblical scriptures. And we subscribe to the Bible. So we're Bible believers. We're not Christians. It's not a religion. It's a bloodline. It's where we come from. It's who we are. So most of us know that, the ones that subscribe to the biblical scriptures, we're waking up to the fact that we are the ones in the Bible. Our ancestors were the ones that were stolen and taken. We're in slavery in Egypt, and Moses was sent by the uncreated creator to uh, bring his people out of bondage so we could worship him. So those are our ancestors. So that is definitely not a colonized mindset. That is definitely not how the colonizers think. Wanted to clarify that. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, this video uh, was not specifically about that video. I don't want to beat a dead horse. You all heard what I said. I don't change how I feel. I don't think it's safe right now for specifically single women, but our people in general. When you have about 9 or 10 people that have been unalived in the last year and a half, robbery and theft, that's one thing. That's not good, but that's one thing. But unalivement or death, that's a whole nother conversation. And so some of the comments that I've been getting are so insensitive to me. Now, if you are in the Gambia, you've been there, that's where been living and you love it. Good, things are working out for you. That's very, very good for you. But I am talking to the people who've never been to the continent and they want to move to Africa. They've never been to the continent, not the ones who've been there 8, 10, 20, I don't know how many years in the Gambia. Good thing, things are working out for you, and that's very good. But I'm talking about the people who've never been to the continent, and their first visit to the continent, they would not know how to move there. They would not know who to trust there. They would not know how to operate there because they don't have experience. They have not been to a country, to any of the African countries. So it's their first time leaving the Western countries and coming back to Africa. So my point was, which I'm going over again, that out of all the countries, because of what's going on right now in the Gambia, now if they fix it, and we could go a good couple of years without one of our diaspora passing away, then maybe that will be more appealing. But in this current situation, I can't, with a good conscience, advise my people. Not, I mean, I have a small audience. My people who subscribe to my channel or watch my channel or share my video, I could not recommend them going there. I wouldn't go there. So not at this point because of the number of unalivements or the number of deaths under suspicious circumstances. So yeah, anyway, that was that for that. But this video is about uh, femicide. I wanted to do this video and talk about femicide. Femicide is a very real thing, and it's international. It's not only with because as you can see since we're talking about the Gambia, most of the uh, deaths have been women and single women at that. So this is a conversation that we need to have as women. Femicide is real, y'all. It's real. It's everywhere. It's in America. I'm not singling out no place better than the other. They all have crime. They all have, you know, deaths of women because even in the African continent, they have a high uh, femicide type of environment as well. Many of the countries that you have patriarchal societies, many of the patriarchal societies appear to have more femicide than anything. So this is something that we as women need to take into consideration, whether we stay in America, whether we leave and move to the continent, whether we move to other countries. Um, you know, especially I'm specifically talking about the continent of Africa because the culture here is more patriarchal. So the men they rule, they run the countries, they basically run the systems here. So um, you just have to be mindful as women, whether you stay in America, whether you leave, wherever you go, especially if you're not married and you don't have a man with you, keep that in mind that there is femicide. People, yeah, femicide exists, and women get raped. They can get chopped up. They can get robbed. I mean, sometimes you're targeted just because you are a woman, and specifically when you come from the West and you come to any African country, talking about any African country, you can be a target because you are a female and you are by yourself. So you can be targeted. Always keep that in mind. If you decide you want to travel internationally, you have to use wisdom. You have to use wisdom and who you trust, who's going to be your driver, who's going to be working in your house, who you're going to date, who you're going to marry, all that. Because, abuse can happen to women in relationships, in marriage. Husbands can kill wives too. Husbands can do things to wives too. So it's something that we all need to be mindful of, including myself, of course. I do certain things here, and I think I've done videos about it too. I move a certain way since I'm by myself a lot. So whether you're with your husband, because a lot of times, even if you're married, you're not going to be with your husband all the time, especially if you guys are doing business and he's handling something and you're handling something. So you may not be around each other all the time. So you may have to go places by yourself. Still, keep that in mind. Be careful where you go. Be careful who you trust. Trust your intuition. Pray. I'm going to go back to pray. Now, with whatever spiritual practice that you follow, and if your people that whoever you follow is going to protect you, pray. I trust the uncreated creator, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the one who created everything. So he is the ultimate God to me. Nothing, no other, no ancestors, no no sun, moon, and stars, nothing else can protect me. Nothing else can for me. I'm talking about myself. I don't trust any of these other things. Now I do trust that there are angels that can protect you. We do have ancestors for sure. But my ultimate protection comes from the Father who orchestrates everything. He's in control of everything and everybody. So he can send angels. He can have your ancestors speak to you and do all this, but it's ultimately the credit and the protection and life itself is given to the Father. And on this channel, I do worship the uncreated creator, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the one I worship on this channel. Nothing else and nobody else. So I'm coming from that perspective. And so because you don't, and if you follow other gods or whatever, then blessings to you in your endeavor. But I'm not going to insult you and insult what you do. It's just not for me. So, femicide, family, femicide, ladies, even with our men, because you know that this is, I would say, for example, we're gonna go back to the Gambia, because you know that this has been happening with single women. Uh, you would think that some of the diaspora brothers would get together and make, at this point, say, whenever sisters, you group together, get together, always make sure that you have include some men. Maybe you can let us know if you're by yourself, if you're doing this, like set up something that will protect your women brothers in the diaspora. So same thing here in Tanzania or in Ghana or in South Africa, wherever you go. Um, and a lot of the people in South Africa, I notice a lot of them are couples going over there. So, but it's always good to have some type of system set up, because at the end of the day, we don't have nobody. We all we got. No African countries going to look out for us, protect us. None of that. We got to do that for ourselves. Not the police, not nothing. No, nothing here is going to protect us. Wherever you at, you got to know you on your own. I'm here in Tanzania. I know I'm on my own. I don't have nobody to protect me like that. Um, I do, but I don't. I'm talking about like the police and all that stuff. They don't have systems set up like that. So as a woman, you have to move a certain way. You have to, make decisions based on your environment, right? You have to be careful, when you decide you want to do things at night. I usually recommend do things during the day and be in before dark or by dark. And if you happen to be out at night, make sure that you have like somebody either with you, or you have like a driver or something that you trust, that that is going to pick you up, and make sure not be trying to call and find a ride at 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. That's not the safest thing, considering always keeping your mind, single women, always keeping your mind, femicide is everywhere. It's a spirit. It's a wicked spirit where some men, not all, but some men just like to hurt women, or teach women a lesson, or usurp authority over women in a wicked way, not a righteous way, right? So femicide is very real. And so I'm just looking at the whole diaspora, not just Gambia and everywhere else, but this can happen to all of us. And I did have some comments about, that it can happen anywhere. It can happen anywhere. So this is why I wanted to do this video about us as single women, or women from the diaspora, I would say. Women from the diaspora or single women, be mindful when you travel in America, as well as on the continent, as well as wherever. Just keep your head on a swivel. Be careful who you trust. Be careful with all this partying and all this drinking. You have to be careful with that, because you become more vulnerable when you're out at night in certain environments, as well as drinking and you're intoxicated. You're not alert. Your mind is not sharp. So these are just some tips, things I wanted to chat with the sisters about, brothers too. Us as diaspora, we're coming back to Africa. All of us are encouraging our brothers and sisters in the West to come back, and we're encouraging them to come back to where it's safe. We have peace, we feel freedom. All of us are saying it. Everywhere the diaspora is on the continent, we're all encouraging and we're all saying it. But let us make sure that we have something set up to when we encourage these people, right? They come over, and we can't just leave them by themselves, especially in places where we have had issues like the Gambia. We've had issues there. Regardless if people say it was only this, I hear a lot of people say, well, it was only two and it was only this. Deaths are deaths. And it's not okay, and we need to talk about it. It's not something that we need to shush and not share with other people so they can be aware. So same thing that I'm in Tanzania. If that was happening here, I have to share it too. We had we had a video of a family that was here, and they had a farm, and their farm got sabotaged, and they ended up leaving, but they did a video, and I shared that video. So I'm not just picking on any specific country. I'm saying this can happen anywhere. And even here, I'm noticing here is theft, robbery. Sister just got uh, almost got robbed in Zambia recently, and she was doing a video. I mean, in Zanzibar recently, and she was doing a video. So things like that can happen all across the continent, and it's not okay. But we got to know that there is not a system on the continent set up to protect us. Ain't no police coming to save you. Ain't nobody. And I've been knew that when I got here. Because of that, you move a certain way. You only do certain things because you know if something happened that night, you got to wait till the next day to go to the police station to get help. And I mentioned that here. So that being the case, you make sure at night all your stuff is locked up. You make sure, be careful who you bring in your house. Be careful when you show people, when you bring strangers to where you live. I know you have to get drivers to pick you up or whatever, but just always be mindful of that. Be careful who you give your number to. Be careful who's trying to be friends with you. Be careful who you do business with. All of those things we have to be mindful of because, people pretend well, even through the process. You can have partners, even me. I had two business partners. I got rid of those two and I got two more. Nothing happened, but you start learning these people. You start seeing the integrity level and seeing certain things, and then you realize, I don't know if I can trust this person. So it is everywhere. So yeah, I just want to do this video, and this is for the diaspora sisters, anyone in the West considering coming back. Be encouraged. I'm not just trying to discourage you from coming to Africa, going, you know, I I still don't feel like single sisters should go to the Gambia by themselves. They can go visit. I feel like visiting is okay. But trying to like do business and trying to buy land and having all this, it's kind of dangerous if you don't have a man around you, especially a man from the diaspora who come for you, come who is from where you're from, and that can kind of keep an eye out on you, can kind of check out up on you. Hey, sis, let's exchange, you know, single brother, whatever. Brother, can we exchange numbers? I'm here and I'm by myself and I don't really know anybody, but just in case something comes up, emergency, have that emergency contact. That person can not contact your family. You're not just out here with no contacts, with nobody, and something happened to you, your family be trying to reach you and they can't reach you. So yeah, because the systems are not set up here for emergencies like that. So that's something else you need to consider if you want to come back to repatriate to Africa throughout the continent. That is kind of how they operate. So you have to have your own system set up. Back in the day, or back in the olden days, African Americans, Black people we used to um, police our own communities. Like we didn't have a lot of like Tulsa and all the communities that we had in the states. We didn't have police like these white police coming in our community policing us. Our community policed its own self. We got to start back doing that. We got to start back policing our own people. And this goes for the brothers in the diaspora. You know, we got to get back to where you guys are looking out for us, whether even though it's a fact that we're diaspora, we're coming to a country, and we're like they consider us foreigners, but we know we're African, so we originate from Africa, but because of the passport they consider us foreigners. So when we decide we want to come back to Africa, brothers, step it up and be like, hey sis, let's exchange numbers. No, nothing don't have to be like a relationship. It's just you my sister and I'm looking out for you, making sure you're okay. If you ever need me for something, give me a call. If you feel scared in a situation, nervous with even with a guy or whatever, text me, call me, something like that. Kind of like a system set up. I think here in Tanzania we work outside of the internet a lot. We meet outside of the internet because we're noticing that you can't always put everything online. So we have little pockets of systems set up, of connection groups set up to where you know we can keep track of each other. So if anybody gets in a bind or in a situation, then they can reach out to another sister, and that sister can reach out, and we can be like, "Where you at? You know, or maybe if I have a driver and if a sister has an issue, she gets stuck or something happens or she's scared, I can send my driver or he can take me to get her or go get her or whatever. So systems like that set up to where if a family from the diaspora gets over here on the continent and they get into a situation, they get into a bind, you're there to try to see what you can do to help them, to alert their family members and loved ones about what's going on with them. So it can keep everybody in a loop because the systems are not set up here like in the West in terms of like, safety and police and all that stuff. So yeah. But anyway, I just wanted to do this video. It was supposed to be about femicide. Femicide is real. And so, um, yeah, and so we have to keep our head on a swivel. We have to be more trusting of one another and keep in communication with one another. And even some of our brothers, I know y'all come over here, whether you're older, younger, whatever, and you may be married or you may be single. I preferably the single ones. And if it's some women that you know and you see that don't have a husband, be that leader, be that man, and be like, I'm here if you need me, call me, or I can, just as that bridge to keep us feeling like we got somebody when we come as women, and unless it's a group of women, here. So, but anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. This is Wanda's Diaspora Connect. I'm gonna do another video in the next couple of days. I wanted to talk about femicide and it is real, and then how we need to take extra precautions. And I think I did a video about this in the past about sisters, how to protect yourself and how to be safe on the continent. And this is actually when I heard about the first, I think, 6 or 7 uh, deaths in Gambia. I did that video. And see, even at that point, I wasn't saying that people shouldn't go there. I was still saying just protect yourself, take precautions. And even after that video, another 3 or 4 people have died in the Gambia. So this is a concern, fam. It's a concern. It ain't something we can be like, oh, that just happened. How would you feel if that was you or your loved ones, and or that happened to you and your loved ones didn't know, or that happened to somebody, one of your relatives over there, and people are acting real nonchalant about it, like, oh, well, had a response like, oh, 2 of them was unalive, the British brother and the British sister, but the rest of them, they was involved in some stuff, and what I don't know, what they how they was living and this and that. All of us make decisions that we shouldn't make. I have made decisions that I shouldn't make. I've hung out later when I shouldn't have, or I've went places to hang out and then afterwards like, I shouldn't have did this. So we all make decisions that maybe are not the best, but it shouldn't result in death. And that's basically the point. These are death. This is not just robbery, and robbery is bad. It can give you PTSD because I had it when I got robbed. So, but nobody touched me. Nobody touched me, and I was protected. So, yeah, just wanted to do this video. And thank you guys for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thumbs up. Hit on the notification bell to be notified. So whenever I do a video, you get the notification. And got a lot of new subscribers from that video. Got a lot of what you call it? What do you call that? Engagement. I got a lot of engagement on that Gambia for real. I got Gambians coming. One Gambian came over and said, one Gambian, I think he was a Gambian. He was like, he wasn't talking to me. He was talking to another one. He was like another person that commented, and he was like, yeah, we don't want them over here anyway. I don't, something like that. So you're gonna have people like that in every country you go to. You're gonna have people that accept you, and then you're gonna have people that do not accept you. But it's okay because you're not here to please anybody. You're here on an assignment, or you're here to for peace, safety, and freedom. Those are the 3 things. Those are the 3 main things that drove me to leave America: peace, freedom, peace, safety, and freedom, which is what I did not feel in America. So yeah, but thank you so much. And oh, if you're interested in visiting, relocating, doing business in Tanzania, hit me up at diasporaconnect0@gmail.com. Diasporaconnect0@gmail.com. I do travel, relocation, and business consultations here in Tanzania. I basically walk you through the steps that I've taken to have been here 4.5 years now. So all is well. Place is beautiful. It ain't perfect. Um, but I know my tolerance and I know my boundaries and I know my limits. Um, and even with Zanzibar, I always said that. And the sister recently, one of our sisters got they were trying to rob her in Zanzibar, and she did videos about it. And I always said about Zanzibar, I didn't feel comfortable over there because it was too many Mzungus over there. It was just too many for me. When I went to Zanzibar, I felt like I was in America. Now, if you go to the resorts where they're out, you can have more of a private, time, but it's still a lot of Mzungus, too many for me. So I always felt more comfortable on the mainland. I've been to Zanzibar 3 times. And I enjoyed myself, but I always was on guard because all these white people, all these Muslims over here, and I'm healing from the PTSD of seeing them because when I was in America, I had PTSD. Every time I saw a white person, I was looking at them, watching them, looking at, examining, and feeling some kind of way. I don't do that anymore, so I know I'm healing. When I see them, it's kind of like out of sight, out of mind here. So I'm healing, but at the same time, I'm used to it being now since I've been here 4.5 years. I'm used to my crowds being more majority African than other nations. And here in Tanzania, it's a lot of Arabs and a lot of Arabs and a lot of Indians, and they're dark skinned too. So we all blend in. It's not, and they don't act like that. They don't treat us like that here. Every now and then you'll have something, but they have a different vibe than the Mzungu does. Not trying to justify anything because y'all know the Arabs took us in slavery first here in Tanzania, Prison Island, Bagamoya, Slave Port. Yeah, I think it's Tanga they had. Is it ones of Tanga? They got a fort there too because one of our brothers went there and they have a slave where they was an auction block in Tanga. He showed the video. So we were taken here too before the transatlantic slave trade. So we do understand that. But you still have to move with discernment, praying for everybody, praying for all our brothers and sisters, that when you do come over to the continent, you get those 3 things that most of us desire: peace, safety, and freedom. Those 3 things. So thank you so much for tuning in. I'll do another video in the next couple of days. I'm going to say shalom, salama, peace, and we'll see you guys in the next video.